As American warplanes once again today came to the aid of Iraqi refugees under siege from advancing ISIS fighters, President Obama made it clear that this latest round of U.S. military involvement in Iraq will not be a short one. U.S. transports airdrop more food and water today to members of a religious minority trapped in the northern part of the country. And overnight, we got our first look at those American airstrikes against ISIS targets. Before leaving on vacation today, President Obama told reporters the ISIS advance on Ibril, where a number of American personnel remain tonight, has been swifter than expected, and said the operation to stop them could go on for weeks. Tonight, our report from on the ground in northern Iraq. But first to Pentagon correspondent Jim Miklaszewski. Mick, good evening.
Good evening, Lester. These latest U.S. airstrikes were launched today after rebel forces reportedly fired on those religious refugees in northern Iraq, where thousands of refugees remain trapped on top of the mountains. U.S. officials tell NBC News that American warplanes and a drone launched 4 airstrikes against rebel forces in the Sinjar Mountains, taking out 3 armored personnel carriers and a truck-mounted gun, after the rebels reportedly fired on Yazidi religious refugees. Earlier today, the president made it clear the U.S. would not stand by and let that happen.
American aircraft are positioned to strike ISIL terrorists around the mountain to help forces in Iraq break the siege and rescue those who are trapped there.
This after American warplanes and a Predator drone took out 3 ISIS targets yesterday outside of Erbil. Clearly shaken by those airstrikes, the rebels were seen removing their trademark ISIS black flags from their vehicles, which made them easy targets.
So far, these strikes have successfully destroyed arms and equipment that ISIL terrorists could have used against Erbil.
But to ISIS, it appears to have been a glancing blow. To demonstrate the fight is far from over, ISIS released a video today from Mosul, brazenly showing off military equipment seized from the Iraqis and planting their flag on their biggest prize yet, the Mosul Dam, critical to Iraq's entire infrastructure. At the same time, 3 U.S. military cargo planes made the second airdrop of tons of food and thousands of gallons of water to Yazidi refugees trapped atop the Sinjar Mountains. Surrounded by ISIS fighters, many are dying of thirst and starvation. And for the first time, President Obama talked today about creating a safe corridor which would provide the refugees an escape route off the mountain. A complex and dangerous operation which would require military boots on the ground.
But fundamentally, this is not going to change the tide in Iraq. It will take much more on the part of Iraqis and likely the U.S. to do that and push ISIS back.
Whatever the strategy, the president stressed the Iraqis must take the lead.
We can help, we can advise, but we can't do it for them.
But it's clear that President Obama has carved out a major role for the U.S. and its military in the way forward.